You've got a few people.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming. Welcome back to Birth Your Vision Podcast Live. And I'm your host, Hannah Kukuli, the founder of All Women's Network. And I'm a business connector and I am a coach as well as a podcast host. I run my own fantastic business networking events for women to help them to network, collaborate, connect, and obviously generate referrals. And so, my fantastic show is always every Tuesday with another amazing guest. So it's so great to see you today. So welcome on board and say hello in the comment section below. Leave your comments and let's get engaged and interactive. So today I am joined by the beautiful Eleanor Willett, who is actually a wonderful lawyer and the founder of Piped Blooms, a nature-inspired home bakery that is actually based in St. Albans. She basically launched this Pipe Bloom wonderful business last year. And, she specializes in cupcakes, bouquets, and cakes and decorated with lovely buttercream, very delicious and very tasteful. And it looks absolutely gorgeous. And so she's here to tell us about how she was able to start this business during the lockdown and how she's able to manage motherhood, business, as well as balance everything together because it's quite tough and it's challenging, especially for family who have children. So I definitely understand how that feels like. So today, welcome the wonderful Eleanor. So great to see you, Queen. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you for having me.
So good to see you. You look absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. And so do you. You look amazing.
You are just amazing. I was reading your bio and I was absolutely just struck by the fact that you are a lawyer and you are a mother and you are now a business entrepreneur, a businesswoman who is running her own business, especially during this crazy times, should I say uncertain times. Tell us about your journey in becoming a lawyer first, and then also kind of the idea of how you were able to start this wonderful Piped Bloom business. So yeah, let's get that going.
Yes, Hannah, I wear a lot of hats at the moment, but I think one of my very first hats was being a lawyer. So I come from a pretty traditional African family, and the focus was always on getting into a job with financial security and with a very straight, determined path. So law was the very obvious option. And I'm passionate about law. I was passionate about law then, and I'm still passionate about it now. So it was a very easy decision for me to make. So I went straight to university, straight through to law school, and straight to training. I trained in the city. Started when I was just a baby. I think I was 23,
Wow.
and yes, I've worked in law for about 11 years now. I trained in the city and then moved to a Magic Circle firm. My specialism was commercial property, and I was really fortunate. I worked on some of the biggest transactions in London at the time. Pretty much every building that you can see on the London skyline, firms that I worked with were involved in. So yeah, I mean, I moved to various firms throughout my career, and just last year, I decided to continue with law because I'm still a lawyer, and launch Pipe Blooms. So it's obviously a very strange time, perhaps, to start a new business. But the thing about big events such as pandemics is they have you thinking about your life and mortality and the things that you really want to do. So I've always had a passion for baking, always. I was always the resident baker in my family and in my friendship groups as well. And I started thinking that perhaps I could turn this into a career, into a job. It was not something I'd considered before because, my life had always been focused on academic professions. But I talked to quite a few people about it. I mean, I talked to my mum about it, and she was so supportive. She was probably the person I least expected to be supportive about me launching this business, but she was completely on board, largely because she could see my talent. So I would probably say the inspiration for the business was the pandemic. It pushed me to do something that I'd always wanted to do, that I'd always dreamt of doing, and I went ahead and did it. My business is about combining my two great loves, so flowers and cupcakes. I absolutely love both of those things, and what I do is in my home bakery, which is based in St Albans, I decorate cupcakes with buttercream floral designs to create these pre, these baked goods that combine two amazing things, and they're absolutely perfect for celebrations or as a gift. And my entire business is based on those two things. So it's something that I'm very passionate about, and a lot of people also seem very passionate about. And yeah, that's Piped Blooms in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So tell us about, your work ethic, because you're very, you're very busy, being a mom, having this wonderful business that you just started during the lockdown, and also being a lawyer. How do you actually manage everything together? How do you do it? Because many of us are actually watching right now who are moms who are thinking, gosh, she's a lawyer. She has this wonderful business. She's a mom as well. How is she doing it? So tell us about that.
It is very difficult. I'm not going to lie and say this is a very easy thing to do, to combine all of those things and wear all of those hats at the same time. But I'm a Christian, so I believe that any strengths that we have are a grace and come from above. But I would say that when it comes to work ethic, my role model has always been my own mum. My mum was a single mother of 5 children. I'm one of 5. We're all grown up now. But when we were younger, my mum retrained as a nurse, and she worked such incredibly long shifts to provide for us and to give us opportunities that she didn't have when she was growing up. So I work hard to honour my mum and the sacrifices that she made for us. So I'd say that's where I get my work ethic from. But in terms of how you manage it all, I'm ruthless about time management. You have to be, and being a lawyer is probably good practice for that, because you have to be on the ball, very organised all the time. And I just have to be ruthless and very organised about my time. And the time that I allocate to being a lawyer, that is what I'm doing in those hours when I'm working. It's what my employer expects me to do, so I respect that. And then around that, I then fit in Piped Blooms, and I work very quickly and very organized, because ultimately any time that I spend wasting around or faffing about is basically time that's then taken out of my family time. So it's very difficult, but it requires a lot of discipline, but ultimately it's just good time management.
Thank you so much for that. You mentioned discipline, and just tell us a little bit more about that, because I just wanted to kind of throw in this question by the wonderful Mona Lisa. Thank you so much for that question, Mona Lisa. She said, what time management strategy have you actually adopted to be able to do this?
I plan a lot. So to make Piped Blooms work for me and my family, I have a day in the week where I don't bake. And I spend that day planning my orders, planning what designs and creations I'll be using for orders for that week. And things like packaging and gift cards, all those things take time. So I prefer to do all those notes and all those gift cards and all that preparation work in advance. And then it allows me to then spend my week and the time when I'm not working as a lawyer, just completing my orders very quickly. I'm also very disciplined about how much work I take on, because you can't do everything. That's just not realistic. So at the moment, I have to be very realistic about the number of orders that I can take on and fulfill, while still wearing those other hats as a mum and also as a lawyer.
Fantastic. Was it like really being a mom, especially during the lockdown season? How did you actually manage homeschooling and juggle everything else?
So I'm lucky that my daughter is 2, so I didn't have to homeschool her. But there was a time when she couldn't go to her childminder's house, and she had to. I had to look after her. whilst juggling all those things, and my husband as well. Um, Gosh, I mean, it's a hard one, isn't it? How is the whole country managed? I don't know, to be honest.
I
I
think
have
it takes
no
a
idea
team.
how we have all managed the last year. All I can say is that there have been upsides to the pandemic, and the upside has been spending a lot more time with my daughter than I otherwise would. Um, when she was at home and couldn't go to her childminder, and I had to do legal work with her around, that was very challenging. And the only way I managed to do that was to do it in chunks and effectively around her nap times, which I think is what everybody
That
else did.
works. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do not want to go back to that stage. Luckily, she's gone back to her childminders, and life feels a lot more normal,
Mm.
or at least the new normal, as everyone is saying. But it's been really hard, I think, juggling everything during lockdown.
Indeed, indeed, absolutely. And I just wanted to know, how have you been able to actually grow this business during this season? Have you been very busy? As you know, have you had lots of orders? You know, have people be, sort of like getting in touch with you? Especially, we've had Valentine's Day and so many other birthdays that, people would love to celebrate in a big venue, but sadly, because of what's happened, they were not able to do that. So, have you been like sort of like the first point of contact for customers?
Exactly, I have been.
Yeah.
And in terms of how I've managed to grow the business, all of my orders originally came from Instagram. And I have a very strong Instagram presence. I know how to work the algorithm, which basically require you to post on a regular basis and to interact with your customers. That's not something that I find difficult to do because I enjoy interacting with my customers and social media. And in addition to that, it's just been word of mouth. I live in St Albans, and that's where I'm based, and we are a very close-knit community. And there's a big push around here to support and work with small local independent businesses. So I've really benefited from that. But lockdown has actually worked well for my business because, like you said, people haven't been able to go to the shops and buy presents like they usually would during lockdown. So I've been able to offer an alternative gift. So not only is it something that people like the look of and that tastes good and is a little bit different, it's also convenient because people haven't been able to shop for their loved ones in the same way. So we offer local delivery, but we also offer collection. And I've always encouraged my customers to combine any collections with their daily exercise, for example.
Right. Fantastic. That's really awesome. So for those who are watching, who are perhaps thinking about sort of starting a business and also, being in their 9 to 5, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would encourage them to first of all think about whether they really want to do that, because it's very hard work. It is a lot of hard work, and it requires a lot of discipline, like I said before. But it is also very rewarding, especially if you're doing something that you're passionate about. So I don't sleep very much. Well, at least I didn't in the early days. I'm much better now, but I've got a much better balance. But in the early days of launching any business, you can just expect to sacrifice a lot of sleep. But you have to be passionate about what you're doing because you can't push through all of those difficult times if you're not passionate about what you're doing, if you don't really believe in your product. But if you do, then I would encourage people to just go for it. The worst thing that can happen is you can fail. And there's no such thing as failure, really. You're just learning from something that didn't quite go the way you expected it to go. But if anybody wants to start a new business alongside their 9 to 5, be prepared for some hard work, but also be prepared to feel incredibly fulfilled that you're doing something that you've always wanted to do.
Indeed, I totally agree with what you've just said. It's all about believing in yourself and knowing that what you're going to offer has a need and there's a demand for it, and doing your research really and finding out whether or not it's going to be a good profitable business. So talking about profitable business, this has actually grown into a rapidly profitable business. So just take us through the steps of how you were able to scale it from one level to the other.
It's all happened so quickly. I think one minute I was just posting my designs on Instagram, and then the next minute I was completely overrun with orders that I couldn't quite fulfill. Um, I think I think pricing is important. I'd say, especially with a business like a bakery, because bakeries are notorious for not making a lot of money. So you have to make sure, or at least for me anyway, I found that I had to make sure that I had a product that I could price appropriately. And pricing has probably been the most challenging aspect of my business for me, because I prefer to use high quality ingredients, premium ingredients, and also the nature of my designs means that they're very time consuming. It's very labor intensive because I type all of my designs by hand. So trying to get the right price that incorporates the high quality ingredients that I prefer to use, and also means that I'm pricing my time appropriately, especially because I'm not a high volume business. You can't do what I do in a high volume.
Yeah.
It has meant that I have had to price myself as a premium product. And the only way you can make profit when you are putting out a time intensive, premium, costly product is to price appropriately. And if you don't do that, first of all, you just won't make a profit. And second of all, you will probably lose any love that you have for your product, because you quickly find that you're not working on each return. So I think the key to a profit making business is always going to be pricing.
Pricing, absolutely. Yeah, I think some of us actually struggle with pricing. Actually, it's one of the areas when it comes to business. Looking at the right price and making sure that you're not charging too low and you're not charging too high, but you're just in the middle, just right there. What advice would you give to people who are struggling in this area in terms of price and getting the right prices, for their product and the services? What advice would you give them?
My advice would be to work out the cost of your product, the cost of your raw materials and your ingredients. So this is it's very easy to calculate the cost of flour and butter and vanilla, but you need to add in all of your other costs, such as packaging costs, cost of your overheads. If you're doing delivery, factor in fuel. If you're working from home, factor in the cost of your utilities. If you send your child to nursery or to childcare, factor in the cost of your childcare. And then once you've done that, work out how long it takes you to produce your product, and then pay yourself for your time. At the very least, you should expect to be earning minimum wage. And I wouldn't encourage anybody to set up a business that pays them minimum wage, because why?
Yeah.
So pay yourself appropriately. And then once you've done that, then calculate the profit margin that you'd like. And then use those things to then come up with a good price for your product. Ultimately, if people don't want to pay that price for your product, it just means there isn't a market for it. And you're much better off sticking with your price and accepting there isn't a market for it, and perhaps looking at something else that you can sell, than you are trying to drive your price down to compete. Because ultimately, I think the race to the bottom is fast, and that's not where you want to be.
Absolutely, indeed. You're totally correct when it comes to pricing and knowing exactly, what your clients need and not what you need. Is about what they want as well. Also, someone said, how were you able to kind of finish law school? Was it challenging? Was it tough? How did you find the whole process?
Law school, I loved law school. Oh gosh, some of the best years of my life were at law school. And I'm very blessed in that I'm naturally an academic person. So I probably found pipe blooms and creating pipe blooms a lot harder than I found the academic side of law school. Law was always a very good fit for me in that sense. It's a very academic area, and that suited my abilities and my skills. So I would say, yeah, I loved it, and I prioritized studying. I was that kid, even doing my GCSEs, I was that kid who used to pretty much study around the clock and not sleep because I wanted to make sure that I had good grades. And I
Yeah.
carried that through to law school. And it's been quite interesting trying to adapt that side of myself to piped blooms. because as much as you can practice and get better by putting in the hours, it's
Hmm.
and you can't push a creative process in the same way that you can push academics.
Yeah.
I always find academics, you can just put in more hours. Whereas with something like Pipe Blooms, it's not about the hours, it's about the quality of the time that you're spending on what you're doing.
Indeed, definitely quality really matters, and that's key. That's what really sets you apart and makes you unique. And also talking about your business, your USP, tell us what's really unique and very different about your business.
Well, my most popular product are my cupcake bouquets. So they're cupcakes that are decorated with buttercream floral designs, and then they're structured and presented as a flower bouquet. And they always wow the people who they're presented to. They're usually gifts, and they always wow people. And I make my cupcakes using very high quality ingredients. So as well as looking good, they also taste good. So they're definitely my USP. But I have branched out as well. I now also offer wreath cakes, which are these wreath cakes that are decorated with buttercream floral designs, and also flower crown cakes. So I've tried to keep the essence of my business into all of the products that I offer. Try to keep a handle on that USP, because it's very tempting, isn't it, to just branching out and offering absolutely everything. But I've
Yes.
tried to always bring everything back to what Pipe Blooms is about, and that is a bakery that's inspired by nature. So bringing in my love for flowers and my buttercream designs into every single product that I offer.
Fantastic. I think that was what actually struck me when I saw your page, the beautiful decorated bouquet flowers. And I was definitely just amazed by that. I just thought, wow, this is really nice, very different, very unique. You don't really see that often, which is really great. And, I just wanted to know more about, let's say, for those who are watching right now and they just want to start a business and they have limiting beliefs, lack of confidence, self-doubt, what advice would you actually give them? How would you encourage them?
I would say feel the fear, but do it anyway. Everybody is scared. We're all scared when we start something new. But the difference is just pushing through that fear and harnessing it to work in your favor. I always think that when we feel scared about something, it's because it's important to us. So those times when you feel at your most fearful, they're probably the times when you should keep doing what it is that you're doing.
Yes, indeed. There's a question here, and this person said it's from it's from Tidia Eleanor's mom. And
Tendai, my mum, yeah.
yeah, she said, "Is your daughter playing baking games?"
She is, yes. My daughter has obviously watched her mum set up this business, and she's very interested in baking and in
Yeah.
cakes. And I try to spend time with her, also teaching her about what it is that I'm doing, so she understands what mummy's doing.
I love that because I think it's so important for us to actually teach our young children some of the skills that we've acquired and things that we know to actually help them to become great leaders in the future. Who knows? She might actually start her own business or maybe follow your footsteps.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think as mothers, as parents, I think we panic and we get very worried that we're
Yeah,
working very hard, particularly when you're trying to juggle a career and a new business. But I think it's
absolutely.
important to also think about what it is you're teaching your children,
Yeah.
which is a work ethic, like my mum taught me, and
Mm,
also how to run a business. When she's a little bit older, she'll be earning pocket money by sorting out my packaging, and all of those. And I'd expect her to negotiate. So you're teaching your children a lot of other things as well when you are working, particularly from home, and they can see you setting up your business and working hard to progress it.
indeed, absolutely. So, Eleanor, who actually inspires you? Who are you influenced by? Who do you look at and you feel like I'm really, really inspired by that person? It could be a celebrity or maybe someone from the family.
Who am I inspired by? Um, I am inspired by my mum, not because she's some great baker. She's not. I don't think my mum could bake to save her life, to be honest. But I'm inspired by her passion to follow through the things that are important to her. And I think you can apply that to absolutely anything, to anything you're doing. And I have, celebrities who inspire me as well. But They don't come anywhere close to the people that you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, so my mum is definitely my inspiration because she's a perfect example of what a strong work ethic can produce.
Indeed, absolutely. So for those who are watching right now, what kind of message of hope would you like to share, especially now that we are coming to the end of the lockdown, things are going back to how it was slowly. And, we just want to kind of keep encouraging some of our viewers who are watching us, who are feeling, like, all right, they've been in this lockdown and it hasn't been easy for them. But now that they're coming out, what kind of word of hope and aspirations can you actually kind of share with them?
Well, the thing that struck me the most about lockdown has been the things that we've missed. So I've missed really small things like
Mm.
just walking through, we have a farmer's market, walking through the farmer's market and talking to traders, talking to other people, just going round to see my friends and sitting down in their living rooms and having a cup of tea, going out for dinner, getting on the train and feeling safe when you get on the train. Little things like that are the things that I've missed. So
Mm.
I think the word of hope for me would be the fact that it's going to all feel so much more special. Just going to work, being able to do your food shopping, all of those things that we previously took for granted are going to feel so much more special when we come out of lockdown. And I think if we can take pleasure in those little small things that we have missed, then I think surely life is just going to be so much better than it was before.
Absolutely, such a great advice. Thank you so much. And just before we round up, I just wanted to kind of allow you to just take the floor and just basically, present your business and just, give us a little bit of a pitch. Why should we actually patronize you and buy from you?
Well, I think you should take a look at my website, which is www.pipeblooms.co.uk, and you should see what I do on my website, or take a look at my Instagram, which is @pipedblooms. I think visually what I do is very striking, so I always direct people to those pages so that they can see for their own eyes what I do. I take my love for nature and my love for flowers, everything that's around us, and I pour it into my designs. I like to share with my followers on Instagram the inspiration behind some of my designs. For example, a real life peony and how I translate that into buttercream and into cakes. So if you're looking for a unique gift that not only looks good but also tastes good, then I think you should definitely take a look at Pipe Blooms. And if you want to surprise your loved ones, knock at the door with a beautiful bouquet that they can not only look at but also eat, then I think they should take a look at Pipe Blooms.
Fantastic. That sounds awesome. I can see lots of great comments coming up there. Awesome stuff. That's fantastic. And you also mentioned Instagram as a marketing tool. Just give us some tips on how you've been able to use that effectively in your business.
Well, first of all, I love social media. I'm one of those people who spend all day scrolling on their phone. So it helps
Yeah.
if you love the medium you're using. Now, Instagram works perfectly well for my business because my business is all about the photos, all about the images. They're the ones that suck people in. So the very first thing I would advise somebody who's going to rely on Instagram and photos for their business is to take a photography course, because the quality of your photos will be what sell your business. It's effectively a window. And then try and understand how Instagram works. Instagram is based on algorithms. So the algorithm favors people who post a lot. The algorithm favors videos. Do your best to incorporate videos and hashtags. Use the right hashtags. But it's not a one-way process. It's also about interacting with other brands. So find people that you're interested in that complement your brands and just take a look at their pages and comment wherever you see something that's interesting to you. Interact, make it your business to say, try and interact with, say, 5 other businesses every single day. It's quite time intensive, but it's time that pays off because your following builds and builds, and you find that Instagram starts to really work for you. For example, I don't pay for advertising. All of my videos come through Instagram and Facebook, and it's just through interacting and posting on a regular basis.
Fantastic. I've actually tried some of those things that you've said, and I can see some great results.
Yeah.
And video works, picture works, and just making sure that you're also reaching out to other people and supporting their business as well, so that they could also support you as well, which is really great.
Yeah. And also
Fantastic.
be authentic. You know, I think it's very important to be authentic, because people
Yes.
can see when you're being fake
Yeah.
or on Facebook. Try to find your voice and just try to sort of carry your voice through everything that you post.
Absolutely. It's all about believing in yourself, being very confident in who you are, and showing up powerfully online and also authentically. And just be unapologetic, just be intentional.
Yeah,
And just be yourself. That's it. And that's what
yeah,
you can be.
your best self.
Yeah, your best self, your best version,
Yeah.
absolutely. From mom again, she said, I'm very proud of you. Well done. Congratulations. Oh, that's really nice. Nice thing to say. You got great support here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, Eleanor, what does the future looks like for you?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so much on the horizon for Pipe Bloom, some of which I can't share. But one of the things that I really love doing is teaching. So I have found a great creative release in what I do, and I love sharing it with other people as well, especially other women who also work really hard and don't necessarily have time for themselves. So before the lockdown, I was offering one-to-one masterclasses, and they were really popular and very rewarding for me as well to share my skills in that way. But I had to stop them for the lockdown. So hearing that this lockdown is coming to an end is great, because it means I can start that again. But I'm also working on online tutorials so that I can reach more people and teach them how to do what I do. And this is still sort of in the pipeline, but I'm hoping to see Pipe Blooms in print very soon.
Fantastic. Amazing. And I know that you're also kind of being shortlisted for an amazing award coming up. Fingers crossed on that.
Yes, I've been shortlisted for the Little Ankle Biters
Congratulations.
award. I'm a finalist in the Mumpreneur category and also in the Best Party Supplier category. So if anyone is listening and would like to vote for me, then just visit my page, and you'll find links to vote for me there. You can vote for Pipe Blooms in the Best Party Supply category, and myself, Eleanor Willats, in the Mumpreneur category. Or you can head straight to the Little Ankle Biters website as well and just find the links there.
Fantastic. I'll be sharing all the link in the post below so that the viewers can actually get access to it and help you to vote and win. So thank you so much. It's been such an amazing pleasure to have you on the show today. Thanks for sharing those wonderful nuggets with our audience today, and they've learned quite a lot. So, my word of hope is just to do it. Just start from where you are. Everything you have is within you. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start with what you have, the tools that you have, and just go for it and just believe in yourself. So thank you so much to my wonderful guests. It's a real pleasure. I hope you've all enjoyed the show today, and I'll be glad to come back again next week with another amazing guest. And I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you so much for your wonderful support. Thank you so much for engaging and participating in today's wonderful live podcast. So until next time, take care. Have a great evening. Stay blessed. Bye for now.
Thank you.